Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tech Niche Tips. I am your host, Joseph M. Smith, and like we always say, I got another one. This is another one. This is a special one. They're special in their own unique ways, but this one is special because this is a person that has become a friend over time and somebody that I was looking forward to having this opportunity. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of doing something pre-recorded, let's do this live. And Dre's like, bet. You know, like I mean, like he was like, what time, place, let me know, bet. And so we're gonna get into a conversation, but before we even do that, I'm gonna start off with a question here for y'all that are watching us right now live. How was your Memorial Day weekend? What did you do for Memorial Day? That's right. What did you do for Memorial Day? You could be honest and say, hey, I just did barbecue in my house, or I went to this place, I went to that place, or I did nothing. In fact, while people are joining us and they're basically kind of getting on the stream with us, Dre, and I'm just gonna say it, man. Like, what did you do for your Memorial Day weekend? You know what I did? I'm gonna talk about my situation, but tell me what you did for your Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day was great, man. My mom's birthday was actually on Memorial Day. So the family, we always get together for Memorial Day. We had a big shelter house here in the city. And had a bunch of people out there from the family, and then also turned it into like a birthday party for moms. So we had a great time, man. Great food. I'm still full from yesterday. That's crazy.
I hear that, man. I hear some people say, yeah, I chilled. That's right. Zoo and it's like I chilled. I just relaxed. I waited on my test results for course careers. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I hear that, man. You're waiting. It's coming. This is not about the weekend, but I'm going to put this up here because I want to give flowers as well. This person says, Dre. Pedro says, Dre, I enjoy your YouTube channel. I subscribed. That is great. Yes, definitely subscribe to Cut the Tech. I do see Adam here as well. Grilled and backyard shenanigans with the family. That sounds like a good Memorial Day to me. That sounds like a good one. Shenanigans
is always fun.
Relax with fun and red spin selling. Okay, all right. Grinding. Yeah. I see now. This is the cloud I wanted to see. Oh, thank you, Zach. Oh no, this is definitely in the work. Like here's the thing on these content creation streets. I always say it like it's more of a support system. It's more of a community versus like a fight. We all in this together. So that's great. Keisha said I relax with family. That is fantastic. That's what I kind of did, but I won't necessarily say I wanted to relax this way. I'm gonna talk about it. Y'all. Your boy had food poisoning. Your boy had food poisoning, and it started with some bad pizza on a Wednesday night. Let me just take the story back while I sip my water. Early Father's Day gift from my wife. But man, that thing was bad. Like that next day, I had to be like, no, I can't work. I had to call out from work. I worked some. I had some ops going. I had like a couple of things. I'm like, I'm gonna push through for these couple of things. My manager's like, what are you doing? But I had to call out. I was supposed to be doing stuff at church, and I tried to push through. I had to leave like after like the second service, halfway. Like it was a lot going on. I'm like, Dre. In fact, Dre and I were supposed to be doing this on Saturday. I had to push it back because I was like, I can't do it. I was miserable in regards to how I was feeling. And so Monday was recuperation day for me. It was lie in bed, sleep as much as you can, drink as much water as you can. Like that was my Memorial Day. And sometimes you got to reset. It wasn't ideal, but
sometimes you got to sit down.
Sit down somewhere, right? They say Auntie be like, sit down somewhere, sit over there.
Right.
You time out. My body was like, you in time out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for the comments and just putting it down there. And we're gonna get right into this conversation because I know that you're here to hear from the brother Dre. Don't call me Andre. That's for mama and granny. All right, nobody else.
Wifey, my dukes, and grandma call me Andre. If you call me Andre, you either don't know me well and you want some money, or something like that. So, call me Dre.
With that being said, we're gonna get right into it. So the way these conversations are gonna be, it's gonna be alive in the beginning, like a conversation. And then there's gonna be Q&As for everybody who's watching, right? And so if you have a question for Andre, a question for myself, we'll try our best to answer at the end. So definitely have your questions ready to go. You can even type it in the comment section and then just wait and just hit enter when it's time to do that Q&A, and we'll definitely get to that for sure. But with that being said, let's talk about your journey and let's start from the very beginning and we'll just take it from there.
Great, man. Where do you kind of want me to start? Like,
if you want to start from I was born by the river.
Right. Yeah. I've been here. I've been on Earth 40 years. That's a lot of places to start from. I give you the how I started my journey into tech.
I'm gonna come off and give you your shine. So for this moment.
Yeah. But I'm like you said, I'm Dre. I came into this field, started to get some interest in the field about a year ago. At the time, I was working 2 full-time jobs. I'd work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday at one job, and then I'd work from 6:30 to 5 in the morning, 4 nights a week, at a second job. When I wasn't doing that, I was also doing DoorDash on the side. I was trying to make money. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, and I was just trying to make sure that we were taken care of. My wife was fortunate enough to get accepted into an accelerated nursing program, and it came at such a fast time. It was like we had to kind of jump on this opportunity to do it, but it also meant that half of our income was leaving. So I had to step up, do what I had to do as a father and as a husband to kind of take care of that that financial burden. And at the time it was so overwhelming because I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't at the place I wanted to be in life. Like I said, I'm 40 years old, so I'm at a place where it's like I'm in my head looking like, yo, I should be further along than where I am, right? And I'm sure a lot of y'all could probably relate to that. But I was feeling a lot of insecurity as myself as a man. You know what I mean? As a leader, as a father. I had a couple of business things that were working. I was working on leading up to the pandemic that was starting to kind of take off. And then the pandemic came along and it just crushed everything. So I was back to square zero. And I was a place where I was frustrated. I was angry. I was sad. I didn't even realize that I was sad until I had a whole breakdown talking to God one day. And he kind of revealed to me that was the emotion I was dealing with. That's a whole nother story for another day. I might write a book about that. But I remember this time last year sitting in my car delivering food to people and just being angry and screaming to God, like, yo, what am I doing wrong? What is going on? Like, I work hard. I'm faithful. I'm trying to live life for you. I just want to take care of my wife and my kids. My relationship with my wife wasn't going well at the time because I had so much that I was feeling about myself that any conversations we had, I would project how I felt about myself onto her. So I couldn't even hear her needs, wants, or things that she had going on from a place of love. I heard it as a shot or a direct at my pride. You know what I mean? And so I was probably at the worst place I'd ever been in my life. On top of that, my best friend, who was like my go-to guy, passed away like right around that time. So I felt like God had taken away my safety blanket. And I was just out here. I felt alone, if I'm being honest. And I remember talking to God. It's like, yo, I know that you said you won't leave me, you won't forsake me, but bro, I feel left and forsaken. Like, what's going on? What do I do? And Joseph, I was just telling you that I had humbled myself enough to call like 6 or 7 friends of mine and just say, hey, what do you guys think that I do well that I could be doing to make money? Because I was working 2 full-time jobs, but neither one of them were things that I wanted to do with my talents. And another frustration is like, I'm super talented. I know I've got ideas. I'm smart. I shouldn't be in this place I'm at. And so, my loved ones gave me a couple of things that I was good at, and I remember sitting down and asking God, like, give me a way to be able to use these gifts that you've given me. As the scripture says, your gift will make way for you. And so I'm like, show me a way that I can use these gifts to provide for my family, and just have a little bit of that self gratification feel. And I kid you not, it was maybe a week later, I was at my second job and had YouTube just playing in my ear because I was trying to zone out and get away from the world. And it came across the interview with AO and Cyrus. So, tons of us that are here because of that same interview. But when I heard that interview, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I got so excited. I called my wife, sent her a text message. I'm like, yo, I found what I want to do. I want to be a sales engineer. The problem was the class to do a sales engineer was $5,000. And I was like, I ain't got that, bro. I'm broke. I'm broke out here. So after that, I'm in the YouTube algorithm. So now I'm keeping up with what's going on in Tech is a New Black and just, the whole scene now. And I remember an interview that Cyrus did with a kid. He was like, the guy was 19 years old. He was fresh out of high school. He had took a class for 2 weeks and landed a job paying $100,000 a year. And that guy was like, hey, I did both that other program and course careers because, he said he wanted to start off as a SDR, get some entry level money, and then take that and go to be a SE. And I was like, yo, I could do that. Like I could, my job I have right now is in sales. I could do that. I looked at my son who was watching it with me. He's 15, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this. So I signed up for Course Careers the next morning. My goal was to get done in 2 weeks, but like I said, I worked 80 plus hours a week, so it wasn't going to be happening in 2 weeks. It actually took me about 4 weeks to get it done. But once I got it done, like I hadn't even landed my job yet, but I had felt a sense of relief. Like, yo, I'm doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. Right, I'm on the right track. I'm here. I have clarity of purpose at this point. And the beautiful thing was, I told y'all my wife was in an accelerated nursing program. I graduated Course Careers the exact same day my wife graduated from nursing school. So it was like life is looking up. And then a week later, my job comes to me. It's like, hey, we're letting everybody off like right now, effective immediately. Like hang up the phone, shut down the computer. It's over. And so now I've got to go tell my wife, like, yo, I know things are looking up, but I just lost my job. So when I went and told her what happened, she was like excited. She was like, that's cool. We got time for you to kind of chill, because she was starting her nursing job that same week. So now I'm at a place where I can I've got the freedom to do what I need to do to be able to make this thing happen. And so I just made finding a job as an SDR my number one priority. Like I would spend from 8 to 5. Like I would come sit at my desk for work. I just sit down from 8 to 5 and just studied or put in applications and stuff like that. And about a month later, I ended up landing the position that I'm at now. And there's a lot in there that we could probably get into about the particulars of it. But I broke into tech. And it's been it's been great, man. Like everything that I thought tech was going to be, everything they told me it was going to be, so far it's been better than what I've expected, and so I'm enjoying just running the YouTube channel and sharing my journey. I started the channel as a way of showing two friends of mine, 2 friends in particular. Shout out to my guys Ricky and Trent. But I knew that they were probably going to watch me do this because we've been talking about it. And so I started the YouTube channel just so that they could have something, a journey to follow. And it ended up turning into something completely different, man. And so I'm here now because of it all, and it's great. I have no complaints about where we are, man. It's a completely different place than where I was just 4 months ago. So that's the long and short of how I got here to where we are right now.
Cut the tech, right? That was amazing story. I mean, like that right there. And it's so funny, like when you're talking to somebody, Keisha actually posted this. I was laughing because she's like, Cyrus saving lives with 411. Praise God. Me? I mean, it's funny, like, and this is the thing, like we don't realize when we just simply just tell our story, our testimony, however you want to put it, and people are now able to go off of that and change their life, how the ripple effect you have, not just right in front of your eyes, but the generations that follow. Like it's crazy. And I'm thinking about your situation. You said your wife was doing her internship, and my wife is kind of doing her internship. Well, she's not kind of, she is doing her internship in mental health counseling right now. And so what tech has afforded us is the ability for her to do that, focus on that while focusing on the kids, and me kind of work full time and hold things down a little bit. So that to me is it's definitely one of those things. And like Adam's like, don't play him, pay him, right?
We can get into that. We can get into that. That's a life motto, bro. That's that came from someplace, you know what I mean? That came from someplace, boy. Don't play me, pay me. You heard?
Yeah, man. And I think I want to kind of dive right into it, because you gave a lot of your story. Of course, most times I like to dive into the story because there's value there. There are nuggets in there. But we'll talk about the mindset a little bit later. But I want to kind of talk about what have you experienced now that you've landed a job in tech. Like, I know your wife is ecstatic. Like, what was that experience like? How different was it to where you were working before? Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Man, it's so completely different, because my previous job, I was in a full sales cycle type of position. So not only did I prospect, but I prospected, I reached out, I gave presentations of what our company was, I overcame objections, I closed deals, and then once I closed that deal, I was the person who was like over that account as going forward, right? So it's just a traditional sales job. Yeah. And so when I heard tech sales, honestly, I was leaning more towards sales engineer because it was pre-sales. Yeah. And my particular mind frame towards sales was like, bro, I'm tired of being in sales. You know what I mean? But when I realized that as an SDR, it's sales, but it's pre-sales. Yeah. So rather than going through the full sales cycle, I stop at a certain point. Right. Yeah. So I look at it like this. If I use a sports analogy, right? I'm the point guard. It's my job to run the play and throw the lob. My A is the person who's throwing down the dunk, right? So my job is just to go out, prospect, find the company, see if they're a good fit for our product, reach out to them and say, hey, y'all do this, we do this. Would you like to have a conversation about that? They say yes, I throw the lob, and the AE takes it from there, right? And so going from the person who was doing the full sales cycle in a traditional sales job to now being in tech sales, where they pay me almost twice as much as what I was getting paid at my last job to do a quarter of the work. like, dog, it's a completely different place. It's a completely different place. The mind frame is great, and then just the environment of tech. The unlimited PTO, the fact that the company, like my company, flew me out to the headquarters and took care of everything. I ain't never been flew out. I told my wife I feel like an IG baddie. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting flown out. but they flew me out, man. We had a great time, and everything has been so good so far that I keep telling my wife, like, I'm waiting for it to show who it really is. You know what I mean? Because I've been in traditional corporate work, and it's a completely different vibe. Yeah. And it's like having to retrain my brain to be like, no, this really is how some people live. And you really have broken into this field. And you deserve that. I've worked so hard and struggled for stuff for so long. I kind of fight with this. Do I really deserve to be here type of mentality? You know what I mean? And so right now I'm at a place where I'm enjoying the fact that one of my brothers told me the other day, he said, bro, you were in what we call winning season. He said, life goes through seasons. You in a season where you're winning right now. So enjoy it, you know? And so it takes a transition. It's a time to just kind of allow myself to really embrace it, but I'm having a blast. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, I tell you, I think that's some things, like, for example, even like the other day, my mom was asking me, like, because I was sick, she was like, oh man, like, is this gonna affect your sick time? And I'm like, oh, I have unlimited PTO. There's no such thing as my sick time being affected. It's just yes or no approval. And if I'm sick and I can't come in, they're gonna approve that. They're like, bro, what are you doing here? Exactly. I know you're home, but shut down the laptop, go rest. Like that level of like take care of yourselfness. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call it that. That self-care that they're preaching is real. And that's something I struggle with because I have sometimes a hero complex where I gotta fix everything and I gotta be there. You know, as a father, I'm a father of 6. My wife is, you know, we have a lot going on, and so I'm always that person. Especially the men that are here can relate. We're that guy. Mm-hmm. Something's going on, we got to fix it, right? Mm-hmm. So when you try to show up like that hero at your job, and they're like, no, it's okay, you're good. Your job will be here when you come back,
right? And you're going to get your own salary, so you're going to get paid. Your check won't be affected. You'll be okay.
Your check won't be affected, bro. Like it's like. That's the same thing my mother said too. She's like, yeah, it's gonna affect your check. I'm like, no, actually, no, it's not.
No, it's not. I'm actually good. Like I'm good. I can really just focus on resting and healing. Like it's great, bro. It's great.
Yeah, man. You know what? Let me go to the comment section, but I'm gonna flip it up. I'm gonna do Q&A. I feel like the audience has something to say. And maybe if there's questions that I have for you that come in, we'll do that, but the audience I think is ready.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it, right? So let me go to Keisha. This is more of a comment, but I wanted to put up here. She's like, praise God and congratulations. Thank you for sharing your story. It's inspiring. As I'm sitting here in the beginning of my journey, sometimes I'm like, I can do this. And then I hear stories like this. Thank you. And thank you, Keisha.
Keisha, you got this, yo. You can do this.
She said twice as much for a quarter of the work. Come on, somebody. Said IG. Yeah, IG, right, for real. But man, Mr. Mitchell. Yeah, that's the part right there that we want to definitely, you know, we could talk. Let's talk about the benefits of working in tech. Definitely making a change to both of you. The YouTube space is changing. The tech spaces. Tech sales field. Thank you, man. Thank you, Zach, for all the encouragement. Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn if we haven't already, Zach. Let's definitely connect with Dre as well. Zach has a question, but before I kind of do, well, I guess we could tie it in. So right. Zach's question is: besides the company you work at now, what software company would you want to work at? I want to just address this because I feel as though it's more of a type than a specific company. Mm-hmm. For me personally, I want to work at a company that is diverse and inclusive. That does mean a lot to me now that I'm in my company, because my company is very diverse and inclusive. Mm-hmm. Like there's groups, which is employee resource groups for various different types of ethnic groups of people. Like if I go into it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's super diverse. It really is. So for me, that's important. A company that has growth is really important for me, like really, really important. I'm ambitious. I got mouths to feed, right? Like I'm not in this because it's a cool or trendy thing to be in. I got bills to pay, as they say. So I want to be in a place that shows growth professionally and also compensates you, that shows you that growth with your compensation. Of course, for me, working from home or working remote, because there are two different things, that is essential for me, especially with the lifestyle I live. When I'm telling you guys, like, working from home could afford you the ability to be like, okay, I'm done with this project, I'm gonna go shopping, or I'm done with this project, I'm gonna take the kids to the park. Like I've literally done that and come back, finish my work. Nobody's clocking in and say, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? Like, no, it's like, oh, you're going for a walk? That's great. You should log it on our health campaign that we have. We want everybody to be healthy and well in this company. You actually, you know what I mean? Like, it's incentivized. In fact, they pay for your gym. Might as well use it. So at least in my company, that's what they do. So the companies that have those kind of benefits, a limited PTO, remote / work from home, and whatever I listed before, that's my type of company that I work for, that I want to work for. And I'm glad that I find a lot of those qualities in the company that I work for right now. So hopefully that answers your question, Zach. And do you want to address that as well, Dre?
Sure, I can do that. I'm a similar situation, man. I don't really care the product, you know, like Jay-Z said, I'm a hustler, baby. I'll sell water to a well. You know what I mean? Just point me in the right direction. You know what I mean? Give me the product and tell me who the audience is. I'll get busy. But I wanted a company where diversity was a big thing, in the sense that, like I said, I'm 40 years old, right? And a lot of people talk about coming into tech and having to deal with imposter syndrome. And I'm just at a spot in my life where I'm like, I don't want to be an imposter of nobody. You know what I mean? I want to show up to work and be Dre. You know, I don't want to have to put on my I know how to talk to uppity people voice. You know what I mean? Like I want to come in here and be Dre, because that's who I am every day. I don't do anything else on earth better than be me.
Yeah.
Right. So so a company that embraces me being me, and allowing me to thrive in the position with the gift that God has given me, right? And the talents He's given me. The perks were just amazing. You know, it got to have great perks. The perks in the money. You know what I mean? The money got to be good, because if you in tech and you work and you settling for a place where they paying you what they was paying me at traditional job, you playing yourself, right? Yeah. So I want the compensation to be great, along with the freedom, like you said, of working from home or working remote. Like it's a completely different vibe. Right now, my oldest son is playing football, and we got the schedule that summer practices started today. So he has to be at school for weightlifting at a certain time. He gets out like while I'm in the middle of work. But I could just easily be like, all right, I'm going to go pick him up from school and come back home.
Block at a time, just like, hey, I'm gonna be right back.
Right, just that freedom to be able to do that. And like you said, they pay for your gym memberships. They pay for so many different things, that the benefits that come along with working at a tech company. So yeah, I'm in a similar boat as you, bro. I wanted the culture to be right, and I wanted the make it worth my while type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna shout out technically Brit. She said LOL right. This was more or less I think earlier when you said IG baddie. So thank you for checking in technically.
No, my wife, she can't tell me nothing. Now I'm a baddie. She got to step her game up, because somebody flying me out. So
that is funny.
Don't just get me socks for Father's Day.
Yeah, like somebody was talking about benefits. Let me see. I'm looking at the comment section here. Some Adam says the place I interviewed today has an open bar and pet friendly. Absolutely, yeah.
That's how my job. My job. They have beer on tap every day. They have a whole division that is set up to figure out what beer they're going to have that week. When we went in for the first day of training, we introduced ourselves, and they was like, all right, y'all, after introduction, we go stop. We got brunch. I'm like, brunch? We walk outside the training room. They got food laid out. They got mimosas. They got Bloody Marys. They got vodka out. I'm like, yo, y'all do realize, like, we got to work. like, bro, they just made it so open to, you know, have a good time when you came back to work. I was blown away. I was like, this is wild. Like, this is different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could go into that. I'm going to probably talk about it in a video I'm making about the company trip I had. Just talking in general, just in case people are looking, Big Brother. I'm just talking in general. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's talk about. Keisha had said, how did you find your desired company? Like, did you sit with yourself and ask, what are the core values that are important to me? What made you choose your company? That's a great question. I think for me, like, I did have a sense of what I wanted. I was already working from home. So that's something I wanted to continue to do because of the flexibility that was provided in that. In regards to the other things, you know, especially because, like you said, we were introduced to this basically through Cyrus Harbin in that video. A lot of the benefits he talked about, like the unlimited PTO, and just the things that I kind of basically sense were like more or less standard in tech companies. Those are the things I was kind of looking for, and I think it's everybody has to have their own sort of like guiding star. Like for me, working from home is fine, but for somebody else, working remote is where they're like that's like it's non-negotiable. And the difference between working from home is you working from home. Like I'm not really taking my laptop and going other places, even though I could go other places in the United States. I just have to kind of like it's a little bit more protocol. But other companies, like they could go, some people could go to live in other countries for however long they want to, right? It really depends on what the company's policies are, what kind of software they're doing. Are they dealing with type of information that might be a little bit more sensitive, so they don't want you to go to other places in the world? So it's all those different things. You kind of have to kind of, and I'm hate to make this, this type of answer, but you kind of have to, for every person watching, figure out what are the things that are quote unquote non-negotiable to you. Then you go on Glassdoor, RepView, talk to people within the companies and say, okay, hey, I'd love to learn more about your company. Are they a work from home company? Are they a remote company? And then you find out from those that work there very quickly, just to interacting with them and just being a generally nice person through LinkedIn, if this company actually meets the criteria that you align for yourself. So it takes some research to get there. But what do you think about that, Dre?
Now you nailed it, bro. You nailed it. For me, I work at a remote. My position is remote, which is another great benefit because like we can go on vacation as long as I got Wi-Fi on my laptop, I can work. So it all comes down to what's important to you. Like he said, it's kind of like asking what did you like about your mate, right? it's like what were you looking for? You know what I mean? So there are gonna be some things across the board for tech companies that you wanna kind of get, especially if you've been watching stuff like what we do, and hearing different benefits, and you're gonna make up your mind. Now, I want a position that does that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what you want to do. Do you have a certain particular product that you want to sell? A particular field that you like being in? Like I just talked to one of my homies the other day. He's an SDR. He specifically wants a job at a travel company.
Yeah.
Great. So just understanding like where you want to be and what you want to do. And then because the world of tech is so vast, like once you get in the door, you can go just about anywhere. It's like its own world in the multiverse. Like once you break in, you can just go wherever you want. So
yeah,
kind of comes up to what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing, and I'm going to go on to the next thing I see here, is that if you want to leverage your experience that you already have in an industry, then find the tech equivalent to that. So if you worked in and this is not just because I want to pigeonhole anybody, but if somebody might say, hey, I feel more comfortable in this particular industry, or I desire to work in this industry because of my experience, then try to think about, okay, what kind of tech companies that work in this experience? What is the technology behind it, whether it's the hardware, the software? Specifically, you kind of want to look at the SaaS, but sometimes like automotive tech or med tech. I work currently in med tech, and like Dre, you mentioned travel tech, fintech. The list goes on and on and on. So if you want to kind of say like I desire to kind of stay in my industry that I have in the industry that I have experience in, then you could go that. You could go into ed tech. I actually have an interview coming out with somebody works in ed tech, and it's actually very interesting, like what they're doing. And so there's so many different things you can look into if you desire to leverage your past experience or skills in that way. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, so let me keep going. I have another question. A tip for getting the most out of course careers. I'm gonna let you speak about this, Dre. If you're cool, we'll talk about this first.
I'm a mindset person, right? I could give you tips and tricks on the A's and B's of how to do it, but I'm a firm believer that if your mind frame is correct, nothing will stop you, right? And so, I had a class last night with a couple of students, and I told them this story. First, I'll ask this. The first thing I would say is understand what is your reason for why you're doing this. And you hear that all the time, right? You always hear, what is your why? But one thing that my mentor taught me a few years ago, he said, he asked me the question, why are you doing this? And I gave that answer. And he said, okay, now why is that important? And I gave that answer. And he said, okay, now why is that important? And I answered that. And he said, why is that important? And I said, I've never thought about that. He said, well, think about it. And when I answered that question, he was like, that's your why. He said, all them other layers, them first 3 layers of why you were doing this would just cover up for the real reason why you're doing this. And he said, why stands for WHY, what hurts you? He said, if your why doesn't make you cry, he said, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's probably not deep enough.
And so say that again for those in the back.
He said, WHY, what hurts you? If your why doesn't make you cry, it might not be deep enough. Right. And so once you reach out and figure out what is the reason why, like really, 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 why am I doing this? That'll be enough motivation to figure out everything else. Right. And he also gave me a story. He said, I went to my brother's, visit my brother in the country. He said, when I got there, his dog was laying on the porch and he was just howling. He was crying. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but okay. He said, so we went inside, we had dinner, we talked. He sat there for hours. He said, the dog never stopped howling. He said, eventually I asked my brother, I said, yo, what is wrong with your dog, bro? Like, what's going on with your dog? He said, oh, it's simple. He's laying on a nail. He said, well, why didn't he just get up off the nail? He said, I guess it just doesn't hurt bad enough yet. He said, that's how most of us are with whatever our situations are in life. They hurt just enough for us to cry about it, but they don't hurt enough for us to get up and do something about it yet. And when you figure out what your why is, you'll go through whatever wall there is to figure it out. You know, and so when you talk about a tip to get through course careers, man, the information is the information, right? It's really not hard. You know what I mean? The information is information. If you're somebody who I'm a person who learns more by hands-on, you know, show it to me, let me walk through it, explain it to me like I'm 5 years old type of person. That's me, right? So there were certain points where I was going through the information and Trent was talking and I'm like, I didn't quite get that. Go back, listen to it again. You know, go back, listen to it again until it started to set in. So for me, I was like you, Joseph. I heard you say this. You was like, course careers was like my car was a university on wheels. Like anytime I had headphones available, I'm listening to the information. If I wasn't listening to the information, I was reading the books. If I wasn't reading the book, I was on YouTube watching somebody talk about something to do with tech. I immersed myself in the tech world until I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. Right. And so once I got to the reason why I'm doing this, there wasn't nothing gonna stop me from figuring it out. Like at the end of the day, it's a proctored test. And I hadn't taken a test in 20 years. 22 years to be exact. I hadn't taken a test since I graduated high school. So when I was studying for the test, it was nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? I ain't did this in a long time, you know what I mean? But I had to figure it out because remember, I told y'all when I signed up, my 15-year-old son was sitting next to me and I told him I'm getting this done. So whenever I felt like this might not happen, one thing I will do, as you said before, as fathers, we're providers, we're leaders, I will die before my kids see me quit something. You know what I mean? And so it didn't matter how hard it was, I was going to figure it out. So that's the tip I would have. But it's not just a tip about how to get through course careers. It's a tip about how to get through just about anything in life. If your mind frame is set that you can win, you're going to win, you have to win, then you will win or you'll die trying. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. That's if you want tips and tricks from me for course careers, that's what I'm going to give you. Now, if you have particular things where you want coaching, how do I do a resume? How do I do it? Well, then that's part of the process. You figure out how to do that by getting that extra help. You know what I mean? How do I learn how to do that? Well, I find somebody who knows how to do it and let them teach me how to do it. You know, but that all comes from that initial of I have to get this done, so I'm going to be resourceful and figure it out. That's kind of where I come from.
Man alive. I did ditto. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, yeah, what he said. I got nothing to add to that. That was yes. Come on now. The comment section is going crazy right now. People are like, yeah, people are like facts. You know, that people are going in right now.
Super facts.
Yeah, that's real. Like even this right here, what hurts you if you know your why doesn't make you cry is not deep enough. Like that is tech job Tina 100 100. Man, I was gonna say why your why is but again ditto. Let me just throw one more at you since you're on fire. Let me do this one. I just passed the course careers. All praise to God. Do you think working an internship for a month or two to build a case for higher pay in a permanent role is a wait? Let me read that. Do you think working an internship for a month or two to build a case for higher pay in a permanent role a good play? Let me see if I understand that.
Do you think that taking an internship for a couple of months just to kind of get that experience so that they can use that to try to get higher pay later on down the road? Do you think that's a good move?
I'm gonna talk about this and I'm gonna pass it to you. So I just had an interview that I released with Diana Wash. This was Sunday. So if you don't know the channel, go ahead and go to @TechNiche Tips underneath my name. And go ahead and subscribe there. And while you're doing that, subscribe to Cut the Tech. Just do both.
You heard?
2 to 1.
You heard? Right? Or don't. You know what I mean? Do what you want.
You're grown.
YouTube experience. You grown.
You grown. You can do what you want. I love that line from you. I love that line from you. But yeah. So like, so reason why I bring that up is because she literally did the project. We call it the project in Course Careers. She wasn't necessarily an intern, but she did the project that they had where they have you reaching out to companies on behalf of Course Careers to have great partnerships. The company started interviewing her through that, and that's how she got her job. Like she never applied to a job. She said, "I never applied. I did the Course Careers project," and they literally were like, "Oh, so what about you? Are you looking for work?" They in an interview, she said they literally spoke to her and said, "Oh, okay, we can't have you on right now. We gotta hire you for this day." It was like months out, and she's like, "Oh, okay." Got a job, like literally doing the work to get the job. So if that's kind of hopefully that answers your question, but doing the project can actually be beneficial. Go ahead, Dre. What are you gonna say to that?
Yeah, I would say it comes down to what where you are in life. For me, where I was at the position at the time, doing an internship to wait to get some money later on down the road, that just wasn't where I was at, and I wasn't privileged to be in that position. If you are like I'm a firm believer. I got a 16, almost about to be 16-year-old son. My son going through Course Careers when he graduate high school. He gonna get a job as an SDR before he go help pay for him to go to college. That's just the way it's going. You know what I mean? But someone in his position, he would have the leeway because he has parents who could take care of him financially. Yeah, then take that internship and get better at it so that sets you apart from everybody else in the field. You know what I mean? So it really depends on what your current role is in life and where you are. You know what I mean?
That's true. And the internship, just to kind of clarify, I don't know much people that have gone through an internship with Course Careers. Most of the students I know of land jobs. Some of them might come with the intention of getting an internship. That may be between $15 and $20 a month. $20 an hour, $15 to $20 an hour, right? But they end up landing jobs that provide them far more in regards to benefits and things of that nature. So I would say, yeah, keep aiming for that high bar if you can. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass this to you, Dre. I'm going to get off the screen for a moment, and I'll be right back. But answer this question here from Keisha, and I'll be right back.
When did you start the research application process for the company that you were aiming for? At the beginning, middle, or end of Course Careers? I didn't start applying to jobs until the end. After I had graduated and got my got my certificate. When I first started to apply for jobs, I was just easy applying for everything. Just apply. And then once I had lost my job and I was able to sit down and focus in on what I wanted to do, I was actually watching a show with Joseph with what's my man name? Javon Blue. and he had gave a couple of tips on how he was reaching out to companies. And so I switched what I was doing. I started doing what he said do. And so you can go watch that show to talk about those words, but I'll give you a quick overview of what I did. I found the companies that I wanted to work for. And what I did was, instead of easy applying on LinkedIn, I went to the company's website. I applied there. And then I went back to LinkedIn and I started doing the work of an SDR. I started finding all the ideal customer ICPs in the in the buyer personas. So anybody that was a VP of sales, anybody that was a hiring manager, other SDRs that were working at that company, CEOs, like anybody that was in a position that could help me, I found them. I connected with them on LinkedIn, and I sent them all this message. The message said simply, "Hi, I'm Andre. I just applied for the SDR position on your website. I can't wait to dominate with the team. Who do I need to speak to make sure that my resume gets with the right person? Best wishes, Andre." Something like that, right? I sent that to each and every one of them that I connected with. And my recruiter told me later on in the process, she was like, "That little message that you sent me is what set you apart." She said it was direct, it was to the point, it was short, it was confident, but it wasn't cocky. And it set you apart and it allowed me to get with you on the interview. And so that's what I started to do. I didn't start at the beginning or the middle because I've never done SDR work before. I didn't really know what I was doing yet. I didn't even know if I would be good at doing this until I was got to the test part and did really good on the test. And I was like, okay, I actually do know the information. Right. So that's when I started to apply to companies, was after I was out.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I did this. I applied to companies after I was done with the course, but in hindsight, I think I tell people to do this as well. Like if you don't feel comfortable yet about tech sales, finish the books first at least, and then start applying, because they provide you the base knowledge that you need to be able to have conversations about tech. Because also keep in mind there's some people that are getting tech sales jobs that don't have the course careers experience, they don't have the background, don't know anything about that. So if you can just read those books that they provide in the course and be able to talk about it conversationally, that alone makes you stand out in interviews. And so that's something that I would just encourage you to look at, is to say, okay, if I've read the books, let's do that. So that would be kind of like the beginning section, I guess, of the course. It's more or less
they're kind of scattered. It's like a one book for each third of the class, a third of the course, kind of.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, but that's from my experience when I was in it as well. We're getting ready to wrap it up here. I'm going to try to see what questions we have left. I got Zach here. Getting through interviews, any tips on or tactics for negotiating salary? Let me well, one I do have, and I'm going to give a shameless plug to a friend of mine, Shanae Eckhart, recruiter cousin, who I had on the show. I would give her a shout out because she actually has $11, I think it is. I don't want to say the price in case she changed it, but she has a negotiation template that's affordable, right? And I think she had one testimony where somebody that they either went to somebody else for a coaching that was like 500 plus whatever dollars, and they still didn't get that negotiation stuff that they needed from that. They ended up getting a package from her for again, affordable, really, really affordable. And they were able to negotiate their salary. So negotiation is not my strong suit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say like I have a lot of experience with it. My company was very cut and dry. They're like, hey, we love you, but this is all we could do. We can't really, this is non-negotiable. And I said, okay, what you can do is pretty good from where I'm at right now. So I'll take it. With everything else to provide. But Dre, you have any questions or not questions? Do you have any?
I would say the exact same thing, man. I didn't know that Shanae had that until after I was locked into my job. I wish I would have known that before. But I did the exact same thing, man. I had been through a few different interviews, so I kind of knew what I was looking for. And once I heard the number that I wanted, I was like, I'm in. I didn't do much negotiating. Looking back on it now, I probably could have, And with the knowledge I have now, if going forward, if anything like that ever happens again, I definitely will. Because I know I bring a lot more to the table now than I did at first. You know what I mean? It's kind of I looked at it like, you know, I'm a rookie and I just got drafted by an NFL team. I'm not really going to negotiate my salary right now. Right now, if I'm a 3-year vet and it's time to talk, then hey, I got game film to show I know what I'm doing. I bring leverage to the table, and I can say, hey, I need this instead of that, and we can really talk back and forth at that point. But yeah, if I'd have known that beforehand, we probably would have did a little bit more negotiating. But I was totally fine with what they gave me to start with. So
Nice. I see a couple of questions here. This is from Mr. Alfred. What's your advice to someone with sales experience and course careers on the benefit of?
Oh my gosh!
On
that's good. Oh, I can talk to you about that.
Yes, yeah.
What's the advice for someone with sales experience and going into course careers? I will say this: use it, but forget it at the same time. What do I mean by that? There's certain things that you know from being a salesperson for forever that just naturally are inside of you. But what course careers is going to do is going to teach you how to be specifically a SDR, which is a different type of sales. It's pre-sales, right? So when I was going through, I come from a background where one of the companies I worked at was like one call close. Call, figure it out, get them closed on the phone right then and there. There's an objection. You to act like you don't hear the objection. You run straight through it. You get them to sign some paperwork, right? I had to unlearn a lot of that coming into this role, right? Because in this role, I'm not trying to make a sale. I just need to make sure that what I have fits what you have and get you to agree to a meeting. I don't sell something that costs dollars. I sell 15-minute blocks of time, right? And so I don't have to overcome the I don't have money objection anymore, right? Like you, as a salesperson, if you take away the I ain't got no money, this it becomes a lot easier, right? Yeah. Because now I don't have no money. That's great. I don't need you to have any money right now. All I want to do is see if what we have is good for you guys, so that down the road, if it is something that you like, then you guys could come back to us. But like, would you like to at least take a look at what we have right now, see how it could affect you guys as you start to expand, and then go from there? And that's we could take 15 minutes to do that. Great, lock them in. I just got paid. Like that's easy compared to what I was doing before. You know
so easy.
That's easy compared to what I was doing before.
Yeah,
so I would say again, remember that you're a salesperson, but you're not really having to be as hard as a salesperson. It's an easy sale at this point. So
yeah, that's a great point. It's more You're more of a consultant. Helping someone to where you think they may need to go, and remind yourself too, like if it's not a good fit, oftentimes we're not trying to even push them to it because we're trying to have continuous customers, not just one shot deals. So when I was working inside sales in solar, the scheduling in the latter part, but before that, I was definitely in the trenches on the phones. And one of the things that I was able to do was I was able to take a lot of that closing experience from that to what I do now. But at the same time, I'd humbly say, okay, I really don't know what I don't know. So let me try to learn what I can. And so I think just like adding to what Dre said is you want to be able to leverage what you already have, but be open to what you don't know, so that you have this beautiful marriage and you're able to really kind of leverage those skills to really make you stand out. Like by the grace of God, I haven't missed quota since I've been in my job. And that's because of the ability to take what I learned from course careers, but leverage all the experiences that I had in my sales experience and even other experiences. Teachers, if you're a teacher out there, leverage your presentation skills, your ability to adapt to the different scenarios. Like leverage all of that, because those things help you when you want to transition to being an SDR. Great question.
Yeah, great question.
I think I want to hear that. I think, let me see. This is more of a comment. If you aren't achieving results, it's because your why isn't inspiring. Oh, this is going back to the why. Yeah, they're talking about that why, brother. They said, Dre dropped a sermon. and Chavez said, this is lit. Let me go to a question that Keisha has. So I have a question from, let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. I have a question from Keisha. Then I have Chavez has a question. Adam has some information here. I'm going to actually show Adams before I go to the questions. There's a website called Ramp Careers. .com. You can learn more about any company just by plugging in their website and name. Yeah, RepView is one, Glassdoor. There's a few out there, so definitely check that out. And Malik said, "Thank you, Dre. Much appreciated. Unlearn everything to learn all that I can. Open to new skills and abilities." So let's go to the. I think this will be wrapping it up here with the questions that I have. I have like two more left, and I think we can wrap it up after that. But Keisha says, "How do we sign up for your coaching, Dre? I mean, do you have sessions with groups of people?"
Yeah, so that's one of the beautiful things. I have been the blessing, just like my man Joseph, to be a coach. On my LinkedIn, I have two links. I have one where I do a 30-minute on Monday nights. It's 25 people can come. And it's pretty much just what I just did with you guys today, just kind of sharing my story and giving you mind frame stuff, right? It's for anybody who's in course careers, people who are not, who are just kind of looking or whatever. But if you want a one-on-one session with me, there's also have that on my LinkedIn. We can share that, afterwards or whatever. But yeah, I have coaching sessions you can sign up for. Just go to my Calendly, set up a time, and make it happen. And I'm pretty flexible with making things happen. I love teaching. Is like teaching and communicating in that way is like my first love. So I like doing that more than I do my actual job. Right. So I look forward to it, man. I love having one-on-one sessions with people, and because I love to see somebody go from point A to accomplishment, and to know that I had a little bit of a part in playing in that role. Like that gives me fulfillment. So please reach out if you need some help.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Again, I'm going to take this off so you can see, but underneath our names, we have the @ there. So you can reach out to me on, well, actually mine is different for LinkedIn, but you can reach out to me. I have stuff in the description. I actually have both of if you're watching from my stream, both of our links are in the description.
Yeah, so, mine is my Instagram on under it. So hit me up on the gram.
Hit on gram. Yeah, and for I do Q&As too with groups. Mine's is more or less mine's is Q&A style. So if you have a question answer sort of situation, if you want any more in-depth things, and I'm gonna piggyback this is for Dre as well, then you have to secure those one-on-ones with us, and we'll love to help you out for sure. Let me see if I could grab this one from let's see. Okay, Aldrian, I'll give you the last one, LJ. I just saw another question come in here, but let's do this one first. Is it possible to find a job that pays well for a father with a housewife, 4 small kids, and the 5th on the way?
Oh, he came to the right person to talk to you, brother.
How about I say when I got into course career, my wife was working, and when I speak working, she's like, we live in one state, she works in another state, so she's it's close enough that she can use public transportation, but still, that's a stretch. Mm-hmm. So she's working, I'm working. We have 5 kids and a 6th on the way. So, and the 6th one came on the day of my interview. I had to cancel that interview. I had to reschedule it. And the baby was born in the car. We didn't even make it to the hospital. So, short answer is yes. Now, right. let me let you know that there are a couple things you want to kind of keep in mind is to get you might be very strategic in regards to what kind of job you're looking at or what type of company you're looking at, because there's some companies that you may be able to get the salary / and the whole compensation package you want, but that's where that negotiation factor comes in there. That's where you showing and leveraging your skills and experience, that's where that's going to be huge. Where I'm at, it's meeting where we need right now. My wife is able to stay home. She's able to finish her internship, like I mentioned earlier, for mental health counseling, while she's staying home, homeschooling our kids. Right. So that was something that I dreamed of us doing for a long time, and now we're able to do that because I made this transition to tech. Does it mean that things are not are easier right now? It's a little tight. However, that's a part of the growth. Remember, we're like the one thing about tech is the growth aspect, like I mentioned, where you could be. I have a friend too, like a friend of mine who was working in a company for like 4 months and he got promoted to AE, or so the promotion is there, and with promotion comes growth in salary and things of that nature. So if you're able to, depending on what package you get, stay the course, then you will be good, man. I think you absolutely can do it. You absolutely can find a job. Let me Not missed any questions here. All right, so we have man has got a whole household of future BDRs. I'm not right. I should just create my own company, Smith and Co. SDRs, just train them from the womb. Like, hey, do you have 50? I'm sorry to interrupt your time. I'm just looking for X, Y, and Z. Um, what is the move beyond being an SDR for both of you? Oh, good question. You want to take this one first, Dre, or you want me to address it?
I'll tackle it. I've got a couple of options. One is naturally the AE role, moving up in that. But also, like I said, I love teaching and helping people. So like, there's also a path where I can move into management or coaching or whatever in that role. So that was one of the things that was important to me for the company that I landed at, was they had growth paths in whichever way you wanted to go. It wasn't just like one vertical you could go up. There was a couple of different ways you can move around. So right now, like I told them, my job is to come in right now and become very good and dominate as a SDR, and then from there prove that I'm worthy of moving to whatever the next role is. So
yeah, and I think for me, it's sales. I love the hunt. I love being on a conversation. Like if I'm on a conversation, like Dre's my POC. I'm like, hey Dre, how you doing? I hope it's not raining cats and dogs like it is by me. Like, listen, I'm sorry for interrupting your time. Can you? I love the whole thrill of kind of getting that energy and getting those dates set up. But I definitely want that closing experience. So for me, being AE is next for me. And then the sky's the limits. Because remember, when we talk about tech sales too, is that tech sales prepares people for entrepreneurship or business. So it's not just okay, I'm going to become the next step up promotion wise, but I'm going to be able to now to start this or do this or venture out here. And so that's kind of like what I'm looking to get from tech sales as I grow in my career. And with that being said, I want to wrap it up here. This was great. We have a wow from Monica. Monica. And then we have Tisha saying, thank you guys. This was so bomb, or this was so bomb. I was supposed to be here tonight. I believe so too. We prayed that people will be here.
Literally prayed for that.
Like he will be here tonight. That's exactly what we prayed for.
That's dope. That's dope.
For real. And then I have a thanks for this great info. Oh man, thank you as well, Derico. I really appreciate you just tuning in with us, locking in, and this was great. So hopefully, yeah. If I think I want to collab with my brother Dre again for something else. If y'all
Don't
think
threaten me with a good time, man. Do not threaten me with a good time. You know I can't say no. We gotta do it, man. We have to.
Of course. If you guys would love to see that, I said this is a part one. So if you guys would love to see that, that'd be great. I mean, maybe it might be like a private thing where we just do like a coaching together, like helping.
That'd be dope.
That'd be dope. But it might be private, might be. I don't know. We might have to talk about it.
Might have to put that behind the paywall.
Yeah, this is we got some stuff we got to share with you.
Right.
I would love to talk cold calling. Oh man.
Hey man, hold up. You getting carried away. Slow down. We gotta talk.
I know. I gotta pause because I'm getting excited. Thank you so much, Lakeisha. She said thank you. I appreciate all the knowledge and bars being dropped, especially by Pastor Dre. Pastor Dre is giving it today. All right, y'all. With that being said, until next time, we hope to see you on the other side. Take care, family.
Grace and peace.
Grace and peace and chicken grease.